What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Adventures of the Oklahoma Kid. I am the Oklahoma Kid, and yeah, we're back at fly tying vice. I'm gonna tie another fly, and this is gonna be my most productive fly pattern. I kind of don't want to share it, but at the same time, I feel like I gotta pay back to people that taught me so much, and that's a whole bunch of people on YouTube. This pattern was first, I saw it first tied by Oliver Edwards. And this is my rendition of his Betis nymph. Again, nymph is a sub-adult, pre-adult version of the insects that live in a trout stream. So this is going to be stuff that's way under the water, crawling around on rocks and gravel and whatnot. And this is what I catch most of my fish on. This one pattern here, probably catch like half of my fish on it. So really good. Again, I'm fishing Southeast PA. To start with, we have a number 14 Tiemco hook. And there's all the specs on it. And to that, we're going to be adding some lead strip, thread. And you could use lead wire, but I prefer the adhesive-backed lead strip. You get it in a big sheet like that, and you just cut a strip off. I prefer that because it's a little bit, you can form the body a lot easier. Thread is going to be a uni, 8/0, and olive. Any dark color would work. For the tail, we're using mallard flank dyed wood duck, and these work really well for tails, antenna, even some wings. Really cool. Big bag like this, you buy it once, you're good for life. Then for the most of the body, be using thin skin, mottled oak, and this one's going to be in golden stone color. This one up here is the mottled oak, and this is the same thing but just with a yellowish hue. That's the golden stone. That's the one I'm going to be tying today. You can tie them in either. Works great. For legs, I'm going to be using some India hen, natural color. Dubbing, under the body, just going to be using some white dubbing. Make sure it's super fine dubbing, doesn't have to be real hairy. And then for the thorax, hare's ear, your color choice. I'm going with kind of a greenish, brownish, goldish type of color. So let's get started. We're going to start with the lead strip, and we'll cut this into a point, just like that. Start at the back. This is just to give it a little bit of weight. Just wrap it. You get up to here, cut it. Wrap it around, just make sure it's good and even. One spot right there where it's not, so I'm just going to use my fingernail, kind of mush it out. And I'm wrapping this the opposite way that my thread's going to go. Very important that you do that. If you want a little bit more weight, you can come up just a little ways. Put another layer on. And there we go. And you can see we already have the start of a body taper. So we're starting to taper this body already. So now for my thread, I want to start kind of in the middle, very loose. And just go to the front, just start working your way back. Again, not a lot of pressure. once I come back up, now I want to put some pressure on. Make sure this lead is good and secure. No lumps, no bumps. You can see I'm kind of torquing this hook around. That's how much pressure I'm putting on it. Make sure it's good and secure. You can also see the taper on this really well now. That's what you want. It's not necessary to completely cover the lead with thread, because everything else is going to cover it anyway. We're just making sure it's on there good. It's not going to roll or twist or anything. Next is we're going to take our wood duck. We're going to grab 3 fibers. Make sure they're all the same length. And about a body length. You want to tie this down pretty low, right around the bend. Pinch and loop. Hold on to the fibers so they don't spin around. Come back up. And then just secure everything down. Lift the tail fibers up, put a wrap behind them. And it looks like we got 4 instead of 3, that's alright. Just so they're splayed out. Is good. And I'm actually going to divide these. So I went between them, and then I went around behind. And then a wrap over to kind of keep them from sticking straight up. But this kind of splays them out a little bit more. So next, we've cut a strip of our thin skin, and it comes with a backing. You just want to peel that off. And I cut 2 strips, one of them really thin. This is the thin one. And I cut one a bit thicker. So this is the thin one that's going to be the body. And that's the thicker one. It's going to be the thorax. And this has a shiny side. I don't know if you can see that. And it has a mottled or a muted side. That's the side that the stuff's printed on. I want that side out, so we're going to flip it over. Shiny side up. Tie it on. Go all the way down till you're on top of your tail. We're going to put on our light dubbing. Now the reason we're using the light dubbing is because if we just put this on and wrap it around, it gets really, really, really dark. And I want to lighten it up a little bit, so just take a little puff, dub it on, and we don't need a lot because we already have a really good body shape established. You just kind of, at this point, don't want to mess that up. a lot of room for the thorax. That should be plenty. And then wrap your thin skin around slightly overlapping turns. The original pattern was designed to imitate a mayfly, which I think it does, but I think it also imitates like immature stoneflies and other things like that. I've tied this with the goose buyouts for the tail, like a traditional stonefly, and had success with that. I haven't had success tying this in small. This is a size 14, and that's the size I catch most of my fish on. So, let's see if we can get one more wrap here. There we go. Catch your thin skin there. Secure that really well. And I think it's starting to look like a little bit of a bug. Alright, so far it's been pretty straightforward. It's going to get a little tricky now. We're going to take our wider piece, and again I want to tie it on shiny side up, put it right up on top. It's important that it's really centered. It's going to be our thorax cover. Then we're going to take one of our India hen's feathers, and we're going to grab a hold of the very tip and pull all the fibers back. You're not going to pull them off, you just want them back. And these little fibers here are going to be your legs. So you want to tie this in upside down and backwards. And this is the real tricky part, because you need to get your thread wrap right where these legs start. And it has to be perfectly on top. I think I got it first time. I usually have to take it off and redo it a couple times just to get it right. Cut that off. Put our golden hare's ear dubbing on. And you want this to be a little bit thicker, because this is also going to help be your thorax, also maybe be your legs. Go right up by your eye, pull everything back, and start forming the head of your fly. Okay. Take your India hen, fold it over, and right where you want to tie it off, break it. So we messed that up. We're going to go back and redo it, get another feather, and redo the whole thing. because I pulled on it too hard. That'll happen. Great thing about fly tying, you can always go back and redo it. So when you're selecting your India hen, I broke most of the stem of this one off. You want one that's really long and pointed. And you want to grab the very tip and very gently stroke the fibers back. So it looks like that. I'm going to tie this in upside down and backwards. It's got to be perfectly on top, upside down and backwards, and the thread wraps have to be right. Let me move my dubbing down out of the way. Right where the legs begin. And I oftentimes have to move this, undo it, redo it to get it where I want it. And make sure you tie this in really good, because sometimes this tip is not the strongest thing in the world. Come right back up to where the legs are going to be. We have a dubbing on here already. Just take your head right by the eye, pull everything back, start making your head. Very gently fold these over. And then right where you want to tie off, pull the legs out of the way. Then tie off. Just break that off. Put a few fibers here. And then if you want, you can take some head cement, because this isn't, that feather isn't very strong. And just right down the middle, put a little dab. Then you're going to fold your thin skin over. Make sure your legs are down. Pull up a little bit on your thin skin. Then would finish. Actually, I think I'm gonna cut this off first. I'm gonna cut it off all the way. I'm gonna cut it off enough that I can get in here. And we're going to cut the tag end off. And then just take my thumbnail and push everything back, open up the eye hole just a little bit more. Alright, and that's it. We'll get a little bit of a close-up, but that's it. If you want to, you can take some Velcro, or I use an extra soft toothbrush and just bring some of these fibers on the bottom out. For some more leggy action. Anything that's really long you can just clip off, pull off. But that's it. We'll get a close-up on this. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys were tying along. Tie this one up. You can tie it just like I did. You can tie it up almost as a stonefly with some goose buyouts for the tail. But I really like the legs on this. I like how it goes through the water. The fish love it. And those are the ultimate critic. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, tippity tap that like button. And guys, I'll catch you in the next one. See you on the water.